OldGuyTalks.com is all about being a better man. Join me on this kick-ass journey. Exclusive stuff for members only in the Old Guy Cave. Opt in now. This is Oris, the old guy from www.oldguytalks.com, coming at you on a Wednesday night, but you may be hearing this on a different night other than Wednesday night. And if you have not already opted in, what in the hell are you waiting for? There's lots of cool shit on my site, stuff that's important for you, an old guy like me, to have a kick-ass life. That's right, kick-ass life, that's what we're all about. Vices and virtues and all sorts of good stuff. Got lots of good stuff coming, have had lots of good stuff in the past. And tonight got a special, we're going to take a little different tour here in the relationship world. With me, I got Dan Brown, and he's got a podcaster also. He's got a website called Startup Gamer, and he's teaching entrepreneurial side to the gaming industry to young men. But that's not where we're going to be focusing on, though I will touch a little bit about that, because the old guy is the guy that gets killed in the video games real fast. I'm the first out. I don't know what's going on. I'm just punching buttons, and I have not a clue about what's going on. So, but we're going to talk about a little bit with Dan and the adventures and the relationship that Dan has with his father, who is an old guy. Apparently, his father is joining the ranks with me in the whole Medicare thing, which was a truly interesting experience. Dan, I got to tell you, when I went to the Medicare office, it reminded me of the people of Walmart. That's right. That's what it looked like down there. So, Dan, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for thank you for having me. Just so you know, I am driving right now, but I am not looking at my phone. So if you see my face, it's coming in and out. I'm not holding my phone. I got my mics plugged in and my headset in, but I'm really glad to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. I'm excited to pass on the wisdom my dad has taught our adventures.
Yeah. So Dan, tell me a little bit about now. How many people in your family?
Let's see. I got two, and a mom. I'm not married, but I have two sisters and a mom and a dad. So we have 5 total, including my son.
Okay. All right. So tell me, as your dad has gotten older, what is your relationship with him now, and how has that changed from when you were younger and he was younger?
Yeah. So when your dad is younger and you were younger, it's all discipline. And I feel like it just gets to a point where your dad is finally like, all right, I'm done disciplining my son or my daughter, or whoever. And it's like, let's just start having fun, but, obviously in a responsible way. And probably I would say sometime around when I was in college, I kind of started seeing the transition happen, that my dad was a lot more apt to doing fun things and, a lot more laid back on me, because he knew, like, all right, it's time for him just to be an adult. If he falls on his face, let him do it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So when did you realize your dad wasn't perfect?
I think at a young age. My dad's pretty humble, so he's always willing to admit mistakes that he's made. So I realized it young. I really did, but I will say he is very perfectly imperfect, and no one can be perfect, but he does a very good job of, he knows his flaws, and he's a very good guy, so I'm lucky to have him.
Well, good. So tell me about some of the adventures you've taken with your dad.
Yeah, let's see. I think the most obscure one, which was pretty fun, is, I want to say maybe his 60th birthday. He had been talking about having smoked walleye for years, and how he used to make it and how good it was. So on the day of his, I believe his 60th birthday, we woke up and I was like, all right, let's just literally have you have the best day ever. And we went on a mission around Metro Detroit, where I'm from, and in order to find him smoked walleye in the middle of February, which we did end up finding, but it was just fun because we were stopping at a bunch of places in Detroit that we liked, and it turned into a really fun adventure.
Good, 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 good. Now, do you do any other stuff on a regular basis, or
Oh,
how does he
oh
keep
yeah,
young?
oh yeah. Up north trips, golfing. He'll come out with my friends and I. He's always, he'll come home. He wants to hang out. He likes being around young people. I think because he realizes that you're a product of your environment. So he doesn't have any plans on slowing down. And being around young people, I think, kind of helps invigorate him to do so.
Yeah. No, I'll agree with that. I had kids. My first kid was I was 45, so I was actually a lot of my friends now have grandkids, and my kids are just in college. So all our friends, somebody once told me you become friends with the parents of the kids that you're friends with, and that turned out to be very, very true. And most of them ended up being 15 to 20 years younger than we were, and so
Yeah.
that's kept us young in a lot of ways. So, how do you see your relationship progressing with your father as time goes on?
I see myself as somebody. It's kind of become a little bit of role reversal. Okay, so when you're young, for example, my dad would take me skiing, right? And he would get me to go do things, whether it was go north or go skiing. And now I'm noticing as he gets older, he is less apt to want to ask me, and it's more on me to be like, all right, let's go do this or go do that. So it's kind of like a role reversal in the sense that I'm finding that I have to ask him to do things more often than him asking me. So that's definitely one thing. And I think that, and you and I kind of talked about this earlier, is that this interesting thing that's happening with younger people mentoring older people on technology. I have to remind him to hit the input button on the television every time he accidentally hits it to get back so he can watch the History Channel. But I see myself in this mentoring position with him because I have to do things like that. He forgets how to get to his email or whatever it may be, or he wants to get a smartphone now, and I'm sure that'll be somewhat of a lecture to explain everything on there for him. But there's so many ways that the world is changing, and it's kind of forcing our relationship to change with it, which is kind of interesting too.
Yeah, I got to tell you that the whole thing about your kids doing stuff for you, I could not download the Uber app to my phone.
Uh, I
I
hope
mean,
you weren't drinking when you tried it, because you'd be in
no,
trouble
I
then.
was not. I was totally
You never
sober.
get a ride home.
Yeah, and I tried actually multiple times. I spent hours, fucking hours, trying to get the damn Uber app down. And I just gave up, and I gave it to one of my daughters, and she did it. She did it like in about 3 minutes. I was like,
Yeah,
fuck. I was like,
yeah,
there's certain things, and it's funny because I'm in this internet space, and there are things that I've learned how to do, and there's things that like I can get stuck on the stupidest thing, and it's very, very frustrating. And then one of my kids comes over and bails my ass out. So it's a nice deal. So it's a nice
yep,
deal. Yeah,
yep.
but
They owe you. That's the thing. We owe our parents. We have no say in the matter. Like whatever you guys need, for the most part, we should be willing to do it.
well, that's nice that you say that. I don't. One of the things that we don't that I choose not to do is to feel entitled to anything because you guys got your own lives, and yeah, we raised you and all that stuff, but we're not entitled to anything, and whatever's done for us, we are graciously
Yeah.
accept that as a gift. So um, so when you are being the son, what kind of things go through your mind as you see your father getting older and aging and things like that? What are your like future things that you're looking at?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is enjoying life. Everyone will say their dads work really hard, and I'm no exception to that. But I mean, I see how hard my dad's worked, and I really do realize that you have to, at some point, enjoy your life. And now, if working is how you enjoy your life, then you should continue to work. But
Hmm.
if fishing is how you enjoy your life, then you need to make time to fish and do things that you find enjoyable because, that's the whole point in living is to have fun, enjoy yourself, and work towards these goals, and be able to celebrate them in some capacity. So, but I really do think enjoying myself, whatever you indulge in, doing that is a must as you get older. That's what I've really learned, which is kind of a weird lesson to take away. But I do think that is one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference in different people have different opportunities in front of them. When you're trading hours for dollars, it's kind of a rat race versus when you're doing something that you really really enjoy and you're
Yeah.
able to make money at it. That's a big plus in terms of your doing. So what does your dad do to and what do you do with him to kind of keep him young, keep him vibrant, keep him going?
Oh God, I actually I feel kind of bad sometimes because I feel like it's like a little trolly of me, but I have him do some pretty fun stuff that's outside of his comfort zone.
Uh-huh.
Only because I know he would never do it otherwise. Like I'll make him go out. We'll go to golf. We went to a golf show, for example, I don't know, it was actually last year now. And I put him outside of his comfort zone. There was like this putting contest, and refused to do it. I said, you have to do it. And then I got the announcer involved. I said, this guy will win this competition. He has to do it. Even though I didn't really think he could win it, I just wanted to make him do it to push him
Uh-huh.
outside his comfort zone to live his life a little. And so that's kind of some of the stuff I'll do. I want to just push him to keep experiencing things in life. Once you're, over 55, I think you can get comfortable, and there's nothing wrong with being comfortable, but you never know. There might be something you're missing out on. How you know
Mhm.
you don't like chocolate cake if you never ate it, right?
That's right. Right. Well, I think everyone and people say don't live a life of regrets. Well, I think it's fucking bullshit because I don't think whoever you are, there's always some regrets about maybe some things that you might not have done. And the truth be told, it's never too late to do things. There's always opportunities to try stuff. You may not try them in the same way that you did when you were in your 20s and 30s, but there's always ways to approximate that experience and,
Mm.
and to do that. So tell me what kind of things do you see for yourself doing with your dad in the future in terms of getting him out there and to experience life and to stay young at the same time.
Yeah. So the biggest thing, and I arguably it could be my biggest troll on him, but I know he'll have a great time to do it. And just so you know, I'm just going with the demographic here. Trolling is essentially means like messing with somebody is like trolling.
Okay,
It's another word
yes, you
for
have
it,
to
but
explain that to everyone.
yeah, I figured I better clarify that. But that's what it means, and it's not like in a malicious way. But my dad, and if you're from Detroit and you're over 40 years old, you have a disdain for the Detroit Lions. That is, you can't even measure it in units because it's so large. And he hates the Lions because they've always let him down. Well, I told him that if they make the Super Bowl any year, I don't care if it's in England. I said I'm buying us tickets regardless of the price, and I'm flying us out there. So that is one, and he is strongly objects doing it, but I know he will if I got the tickets, and I think he'd have an amazing time because, like for example, the Tigers were in the playoffs, and we went to those games, and we had a blast every time. So I think he'd have a great time with the Lions being in the Super Bowl if they ever make it, and flying him out there. So that is one big one I see in the future. If it ever does happen in our lifetimes, we both could die and they still never make a Super Bowl. So we'll see.
Yeah, Dan. I was gonna say there's you're gonna find a leprechaun at the end of a rainbow before that ever fucking happens.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's pretty pathetic, but I still am gonna do it. I've hard
You guys in
committed.
the you guys in the Cleveland Browns. I mean, it's neck
Yeah,
and neck.
it's not good. It's not good. So
So it's not pretty good. So so what did your father say? If he says what? Does your father say he feels old or not?
no, and that's one thing too is that mindset is everything. Whatever you think, you will manifest. And my dad, My dad is a thinker. Like, he's very old school in everything that he does. He doesn't really drink water. He drinks Diet Cokes, but I will say the one thing that he does that's very new school is that he tells his mind something, and whatever he says to his mind is what ends up happening. So he tells himself he's young. And I mean, there's people that will tell me, I don't know how he moves like that at his age, or how he's in such good shape. And I don't know either. He shouldn't be, but it's all his mindset of, I am young, I got a lot of life to live, and that's what he says about being old. He is, in his eyes, he's young. He's not as young as he was, but he's young. And but yeah, that's what keeps him young, honestly.
Mm-hmm. When you say he tells himself this stuff, does he do meditation, or is
No,
that just?
that's the thing, is he's so, my dad was raised by a bunch of World War II veterans. That's
Right.
when he was around, working around. And if you were to tell those guys about meditating, they would like laugh at you into the ground. They would say you're a lunatic. And so my dad would never meditate. But if you ask him, oh, aren't you getting a little old for that? He'll go, no, I'm young. I'm the young guy. I'm in great shape. And so subconsciously he does it, but he doesn't realize it. He does a lot of things that you will see and read about, like high-end business people doing nowadays. He doesn't realize he does it, but he does it. And it's kind of funny to me, because I feel like I'm in the middle watching this all transpire, and I'm like, my dad's always done that kind of thing without actually doing it in a technical stance. So that's what he says about aging, which is kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how do you what kind of a model do you see for yourself as you get older?
Well, I'll tell you, definitely a little bit different than my dad's.
By the way, how old are you?
I'm 27. So life as 27-year-old now is, yeah, I know. It's so different than when he was 27. Probably most of his friends were married with kids when they were 27, and now, I'm not close to either one of those things, but that's okay. It's not like it was back then, but I see myself traveling a lot more. God willing, if my health stays good, I'll be able to travel, live in New York, live in LA, and still be in Detroit too, and do that. And I want to be a serial entrepreneur when I'm that age, and have a ton of businesses. So that's the biggest difference I'd say between me and him, is that my dad has focused on one business and he's done well with it, but he's also just busted his hump to make it happen. Whereas I would like to see myself traveling more and have my finger in more jars than just one.
Yeah. So as you get older, what have you learned from your dad that's going to help you stay younger?
I think the biggest thing is that mindset, and it's weird because I feel like in his mind, he thinks he's younger than I think about myself in my mind, and that's like something I have to continue to work at. But it's that mindset thing. I mean, if he wants to do something, he will just will himself into doing it. And I really try and do that, and I'm successful sometimes, but not like he is. Like, I don't know what happens to somebody that they can just literally. That's the biggest thing.
I'm losing you. I'm losing you, Dan, a little bit.
Oh, you got. Am I back?
You're back.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Good. But yeah, he just wills things. He says something and it manifests in front of him. If he says, I'm going to do this, or if he says I'm going to carry this pickle bucket full of concrete, he will just will himself into doing it. It's crazy. So I would have to say that's what the biggest takeaway I'm going to have is trying to replicate what he's doing things like that and making it happen always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, one of the things about that I've learned at this point is mindset, as you mentioned, is critical and in a lot of ways, you get what you expect. And if you expect nothing, well, that's the way it's going to fucking show up for you. And if you expect a lot, well, there's no guarantees that's going to happen, but there's a better chance that you, at least you have a fighting chance in terms of your life and your expectations. It's just so critical for that. So,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
yeah. So Dan, I want to talk a little bit about your startup, because we got dads that are going to be listening to this, and actually because my site is not only for guys, but it's those that love them. So tell us a little bit about your site, Startup Gamer, and
Yeah,
what you want to do with that, and because we all got kids. I got a kid in college. She's thinking about going into computer science, and I'm trying to introduce her to some of the stuff in the internet. So let's tell me a little bit about Startup Gamer.
yeah, yeah. So I have it is it's actually how we got connected. Was kind of through you and I are in a mastermind group, and that's how we got connected. And so I haven't launched yet, but I'm launching in January, and my site and everything is live. Content's limited, but it is there. But essentially, I want to make entrepreneurship more of a make it more of a reality to people who maybe don't realize that they have it in them. So, okay, a lot of people say, okay, you either have it or you don't have it, entrepreneurship. And I think that's true. But, for me, I'm a big time gamer, and I don't think I really realized that I had it in me until later, because I had this drive when I play video games, right? I had to be the best at this. I had to get perfect on this or whatever it may be. And I didn't realize like how closely a lot of that drive and passion and predictions that you do in gaming would relate back into the business world. So the whole objective of this podcast is I want to be targeting, high school guys and girls, up to college guys and girls, and anyone over or under that. But that's my target, and putting business in terms that are a video game. So you're not looking at business like a textbook would look at it. You're looking at pick your starting character. To make it simpler for the show. So how do you classify yourself in business? Are you a marketing wizard? Are you like a tech hacker? Are you a shapeshifter? Meaning, like, are you somebody who's really good at communicating with people and getting messages across? And building things out like that. I got infographics and everything, as opposed to doing normal show notes like you would have with a podcast. Everything is visual because I want to target and hopefully inspire younger people to do things within the world of gaming by talking to other entrepreneurs who are currently doing things within it. Whether they're influencers, which is basically somebody who's just famous for being good or entertaining, or the professional gamers, or they have a company where they make games, they make products for games, they do stats for games, they own a video game team, whatever it may be. And so that's the whole objective of it, is to really illustrate that for kids and all the way up to college level, and show them, entrepreneurship is really cool. And it essentially is like a video game where, there's rules and things you have to follow, but you have a lot more freedom and creativity to do what you want. And when you start looking at it like that, it is like super enjoyable and addicting.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Sounds like you're doing a real big benefit to a lot of kids that don't understand there's actually a business side to something that they're enjoying on a day-to-day basis, and that there's an opportunity there for them.
Yeah. Yep. So that's the goal, and I just want to build a brand that can really help inspire, and it's fun, and I'm a kid at heart, so for me it's like perfect. Even though you'll probably say I'm actually still a kid, sometimes.
No, Dan, I won't say you're a kid. I'm going to say you're a punk.
Yeah, I'm a punk. Yeah, but I want to inspire, and there's just so much to do out there, and I feel like a lot of time younger people aren't necessarily, that message isn't always conveyed to them like their potential. I feel like a lot of people just suppress that, and I want to be somebody that it's like, you're capable of anything, but you're gonna have to put in time and effort and learn how to do it, and you can do it. So that's the whole objective with it, and my hope with it, and building a brand around it. So that's kind of where that stands. And yeah, that's the start of Gamer, which will be launched officially in January. But if you want to check out social or the website or anything, it's all live.
Well, yeah. Well, January is just around the corner. It's just a few days away, actually. In all reality, I'm sure. I don't think. I don't think. I don't think you're in a January 1 stage, but you're saying, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, and is you know this, is the amount of work and persistence that you got to have to basically to win this game. And quite often, the only thing we see is like a friend, a guy that I'm part of a men's group called Wake Up Warrior, and part of in the discussion there is we only see the highlight reels of people's lives. The crossing the finish line, the victorious lap that they take, and the dance in the end zone. But the truth of the matter is that we don't really see all of the fucking work that's put in. No, I'm still here. I'm still here. So we don't see all of the fucking work that's put in by people to keep things going. And so it's kind of like, oh, I want to be that guy, or I want to be that girl, or whatever. And it takes just a lot of time, and it takes years to be an overnight success. Hello? Well, folks, this is what happens when you have live stuff going on, and so you lose your audience. Sometimes you lose your audience, and sometimes you lose your guest. This is not the first time this has happened to the old guy, and won't be the last. So this is Orsi Old Guy from www.oldguytalks.com signing off. It's all about creating a kick-ass life. If you have not already opted in, what the hell are you waiting for? Take care. It's all about creating a kick-ass life. That's right, kick-ass life, vices and virtues. Opt in and encourage other old guy assholes like you to opt in also.